In a quiet village just beyond Nairobi's bustling streets, 55-year-old David was a respected farmer and devoted father. His family was his pride, especially his only daughter, 28-year-old Joyce. She had returned home after a troubled marriage to start over. But beneath the facade of family unity lay dark secrets that would shatter their world and leave a trail of blood. Joyce's return to her parents' home was met with a mix of relief and concern. She claimed her husband had been abusive, and her parents, especially David, welcomed her back with open arms. David adored Joyce, often defending her even when whispers in the village suggested her marital troubles were due to her wayward ways. To him, Joyce was his angel, a victim of unfortunate circumstances. Months after Joyce's return, David began falling ill. He initially dismissed it as fatigue from farm work, but his symptoms worsened: chronic fever, weight loss, and unrelenting fatigue. His wife, Susan, convinced him to see a doctor. The diagnosis was devastating. David was HIV positive. His world collapsed. He couldn't fathom how this had happened. He had been faithful to Susan their entire marriage. The doctor suggested they test Susan as well, but her results came back negative. The mystery deepened, and so did David's shame and confusion. As David's health deteriorated, rumors about Joyce's promiscuity reached him. It was said she often entertained visitors in secret, even while under her parents' roof. One night, David overheard a heated phone conversation between Joyce and an unknown man. She was shouting, accusing the man of exposing her to the virus. David's blood ran cold. Confronting her, he demanded answers. Joyce broke down, admitting she had contracted HIV during her marriage but had hidden the truth. Worse, she confessed to occasionally using their family's razors to shave, likely contaminating them. David was devastated. His daughter, his pride, had betrayed him in the worst way possible. His illness wasn't just an accident, it was a direct result of her carelessness and deceit. The anger bubbling within him turned into a cold, calculated desire for revenge. Joyce begged for forgiveness, but David's heart had hardened. He couldn't bear the thought of living the rest of his life with the virus she had given him. One stormy evening, David called Joyce to the kitchen, saying he wanted to discuss her future. Joyce hesitated, sensing his icy demeanor, but she went anyway. As she sat down, David locked the door behind them. In his hand was a machete, gleaming under the dim kitchen light. "You took everything from me," he said, his voice trembling with fury. "My health, my pride, my life. And you expect me to forgive you?" Joyce pleaded, tears streaming down her face, but David's rage had consumed him. In a fit of uncontrollable anger, he struck her down. Her cries echoed through the house, but no one came to her aid. The house fell silent, save for the sound of the rain outside. David stood over her lifeless body, the reality of his actions sinking in. He dropped the machete and walked out into the storm. His wife, Susan, found him hours later in the cowshed, staring into the distance. She screamed when she discovered Joyce's body, and the neighbors quickly gathered. The police arrived, and David confessed to the murder without resistance. "She destroyed me first," he said during his arrest. The villagers were torn between shock and sympathy. Many saw him as a man pushed to his breaking point. During his trial, David's story became national news, sparking debates about family loyalty, HIV stigma, and justice. He was sentenced to life in prison, leaving Susan to grieve the loss of both her daughter and husband. In prison, David became an advocate for HIV awareness, sharing his tragic story to warn others about the dangers of silence and betrayal. But his message came too late for his own family, shattered beyond repair. Back in the village, Joyce's grave remained unmarked, a symbol of the secrets and lies that led to tragedy. Susan, now alone, planted a tree where Joyce was buried, hoping that with time, its shade would bring peace to a family torn apart by betrayal and revenge. If this story captivated you, be sure to subscribe to Tales by Reddy for more thrilling stories such as this. Share your views in the comments below. See you in the next one.